My ex-boss tried to ruin my career, so I built a company that replaced his. I used to think hard work was enough. Show up early, stay late, get results, the kind of old-school loyalty that's supposed to mean something. I was 27, working as an engineer for a small tech firm led by a guy named Carl. He was the kind of boss who smelled like expensive cologne and insecurity. The louder he bragged, the more obvious it was he didn't actually know what his team was doing. Still, I respected him, at least, at first. Carl used to say things like, "I like hungry employees," and I was starving to prove myself. I built systems that made clients happy, saved the company a few near disasters, helped land a big account by rewriting half the project code overnight. He said, "Good job," once in a meeting where he made it sound like it was his idea. I didn't care about credit. I just loved building things that worked. Until one morning, my access credentials failed. I thought it was a glitch. Turns out, it wasn't. HR called me in and said, "We're terminating your employment effective immediately for misconduct." I stared at them. What misconduct? They wouldn't look me in the eye. Someone had told Carl I'd been pocketing client data to build a side hustle. That was a lie. I didn't even have a backup drive. Still, I was escorted out like a criminal. Carl stood by his office door, fake concern dripping off him like oil. He said, "Nothing personal. You're talented, but we can't take risks." It wrecked me. My reputation in that tight-knit industry was destroyed overnight, and Carl made sure every contact I had knew why. I tried applying elsewhere. Nobody wanted to touch me. For a while, I worked delivery gigs just to cover rent. But one night, after months of failure, I met an old client by accident. He asked why I left the company. When I told him, he frowned. "That's crap," he said. "You were the only one who knew what was going on." He joined my tiny freelance team the next month as my first major client. That's how it started. Small, messy, desperate. Me, a laptop, and one contract. But I knew how to build. Every system Carl took credit for, I'd actually written from scratch. I knew the pitfalls he didn't. Over 2 years, my little freelance gig became a startup. Then that startup became a registered company. 10 employees, then 30, then 80. We signed clients Carl's firm had let down, fixed their systems, rebuilt their trust. People started whispering that my company was the place that didn't just talk, it delivered. The day that really sealed it happens about 3 years later. I got an email from Carl's company corporate boilerplate tone. They were interested in outsourcing support to us for a short-term consultation project. It didn't hit me immediately. I reread the name at the bottom. Carl Whitman, Director of Operations. I hadn't even realized he'd been demoted. I took the meeting. He didn't recognize me at first. New suit, beard, different confidence. He pitched me the contract like I was just another vendor, talking around numbers, trying too hard. Halfway through, he squinted and said, "Wait, didn't you work for Whitman Systems?" I smiled. "Yeah," I said. "You fired me for misconduct." The silence was delicious. I slid the contract back across the table. "Just for your information, this contract would have me owning the support rights to your core servers. You sure about that?" He looked pale. "What are you implying?" I just shrugged. "Nothing. Just legal wording. But maybe you should have your hungrier employees read the details." We didn't end up signing. Didn't need to. A few months later, one of my employees forwarded me a news article headline. "Whitman Systems declares bankruptcy after data breach. Loses major clients." I didn't gloat. Didn't post about it. Didn't send him an email saying, "Karma's real." I just kept working. Now, my team's grown to almost 200 people. Half of them are engineers like I used to be. Overworked, ignored, underestimated. We don't operate like Carl did. No fake compliments, no backstabbing, no stealing credit from the people who actually build things. My favorite part? Our new office sits across the street from the old building where I got fired. I can see the window of Carl's old office every morning. Sometimes, when a new hire asks how the company started, I tell them the short version. Bad reasons can lead to good beginnings. But the real truth? I built something Carl could never manage, not because I was smarter, but because I remembered exactly what it felt like to be thrown away. Turns out, the best revenge you can get on people who underestimate you is giving other people the chances they never gave you.